Okay, so these are the data fights within the Kingdom Hearts ReMind DLC that came out yesterday. I am doing all of these on critical and thought that I'd kind of give my tips to how I found I could beat some of these guys. Beat Luxord yesterday, and I'm going to try and recreate what I did there now that I understand the fight a bit better. So the way this fight is going to go, it's going to be very similar to the way that he fought in Kingdom Hearts 2, where you and him are both on a time-based system, and the way that you beat him is by depleting his time. The way you deplete his time is by hitting him, but to hit him you have to play certain games that he presents you with, and you have to win them. And these play similar to how they did in Kingdom Hearts 2, but they have some variations to them, as you'll see right here. So Luxord's going to start the fight with standard attacks. This one is one where you have to read the elements coming towards you on the cards and hit them with the appropriate magic. If you don't, they become unblockable cards that you'll need to dodge. Pretty simple, but it can throw you off guard if you're not ready for it. He has another standard attack where he can start throwing singular cards at you. If you read the pattern and understand their speeds, you can block appropriately and they don't pose too much of a threat. So this first roulette game is pretty simple. All you have to do is hit the card with a circle on it, but be sure that you're locked on to the right card, otherwise you'll flub and hit the wrong one just like I did and lose time. This second game is the one that's most closely reminiscent of Kingdom Hearts 2. You're looking for the card that has Luxord on it and you're going to hit him. The problem is that these cards will face away from you. Always, no matter how you pan the camera. So you need to look for the card that has a circle on it, hit all of the cards that have a circle on it, and it will reveal which card Luxord is hiding behind. At that point, you're free to wail on him as much as you want until he reprises. So this Gale attack that he's about to do is really easy to read. I'd recommend that you block all of the cards that come your way, because if you just dodge them, they stay on the floor, and then they contribute to that game that we just played where we have to look behind cards to find Luxord. And if there's more cards that he could be potentially hidden behind, the game can become really tricky, especially because it's all on a time-based system. You only have a limited amount of time to find him.
Do you think you can find me?
Yep, and here we go. There's like 3 times as many cards as last time.
Figure the rules out.
I should mention that health management is important here, obviously, but this fight isn't nearly as hectic as some of the other data fights are going to be, so don't feel too worried if you're like on 1 HP and you go in for a combo. You're not going to get like a reprisal that you didn't expect. You can easily come back from it.
It's more fun when you beat the odds. I have you.
In this game where the cards are revolving around Luxord, you have as much time to hit the appropriate card as you do when you, like, as soon as you see the cards are slowing down and they're going to come to a stop, if they stop, you'll lose the game. But if you hit them, they'll speed up again and you'll get to hit the next card in the series. Just don't let them stop and you'll be okay.
Let's play, Sora.
So because we were diligent about blocking cards, there weren't nearly as many on the floor. There's only 4 now, and it makes the game super easy. So I wish I understood the mechanics behind this desperation move a bit better than I currently do, but I'll try and iterate it here as best as I can. The object of this game is kind of similar to what you played in the base game. You're looking for the card that has Luxord on it and you're trying to dispel it. So you're going to come up to it. If you see the card with him on it, you're going to hit triangle and you're going to cast him away. The problem is that these cards are really finicky about when they want to show Luxord and when they don't want to show Luxord. They're very random and kind of sporadic in their movements. It's going to be pretty common for you to run up to a card that is Luxord only for it to change while you're running up to it. There will also be moments where the cards will phase into the ground and suddenly attack you while you're searching for him, so you have to be really diligent about finding Luxord and finding him fast before the cards can, change and shuffle up on you. And just like all the other games, this is another one that's based on time. You want to do it within the time limit that Luxord allows you, otherwise you lose the game, you lose time. One nice thing is that as more time passes by and as the cards shuffle, the circle that you have to search starts shrinking, and so it's easier to kind of move between the cards and get to the one that you're actually looking for. Yeah, just like that, it closed in. And obviously, don't select the wrong cards, otherwise you lose the game.
Live dangerously, so. I always win in the end.
There does seem to be a final part to this desperation move. It's the same game, but I think the cards are just moving way more sporadically than they usually are. Like, you can see how quickly Luxord is changing between the cards and how much more difficult it is now to reach him. He also attacks in this phase, so if you don't find him quick enough, he is going to send out 2 of these symbols that are on the cards that aren't his, and they're gonna, you know, come in at you and hit you for some damage.
Where'd I go? Pick a card.
Yep, that was the move I was referring to right there. I think one thing that helps with this phase in particular is to really pan the camera quickly. If he's moving between the cards fast, you have to move your field of vision just as quickly. Reveal him 3 times within the final part of that desperation move, and you'll have successfully gotten past it. And Luxord should be on his last legs. One really nice thing about the desperation move is that you actually aren't required to successfully complete it in order to beat Luxord. You can fail it, and as long as you still have time in your gauge, you can continue battling the normal fight as is and whittle him down to 0 time on his gauge without ever having to complete that game.
Pick a card. On to the next game.
In later stages, if Luxord decides to play this move, sometimes the cards will rotate further away from him, but it's the same basic concept, just hit the card with a circle on it and you're good to go. Keep eating away at his meter, and that's the fight. Thanks for watching. I intend to do these walkthrough commentaries on critical mode for the data fights for all 13 of the data battles, and also the secret boss once I get to him. If you like the video, please leave a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and the next one should be up in the next couple days. See ya!